not really missing, you know. I remember as soon as the plane doors open, hits me this warm wave of kind of a bouquet of smells. You know, it was first of all beautiful, very great smell. You know, it was like a kind of a village smell, and it was warm. And I remember when we came to the terminal, there was greeting the new immigrants, the new citizens. With big trays of oranges, and I was convinced that we just arrived in paradise, and it was also for free. And with the Soviet mentality, it was, hey, you get something for free, it's great. And but at the same time, the immigration, the life as an immigrant is not that great. It's a very tough life. And my parents was in the beginning first cleaning offices and trying to make a living. I went to a new school, and it was in the 5th grade. And I remember the first day I went to the school, I had a major fight, and because I didn't speak Hebrew at that time, and I dressed very different, and I remember after the school we was all walking home, and a few kids pick on me. But I already at age 10 I already consider myself as a boxer, and I'm not promoting boxing here, and just to make sure. But as for the kids, I think boxing is a great sport because it's a side note, and it develops a lot of confidence, and I think that confidence also helped me a lot, and I could defend myself, and I had the fight, and I think I was victorious at least. But still, as moving from Soviet Union to Israel, we still was very secular Jews. You know, we brought with us the same Soviet mentality, and you know, it was life was tough, but it was a good education, I guess, and already since young age, I already knew that my future should be a boxer. I always thought that I always wanted to be a world champion one day, and even though I was 14 years old, and I remember I had a little a kind of thing I used to do. I used to come to the mirror and always point the finger at myself and say, "Hey, one day you're going to be a world champion," you know. And then realizing that it sounds very, very silly, I would kind of ignore, but I would repeat occasionally, you know. And I think occasionally, I think with the time I used to kind of hammer it in my brain, and that one day I'm going to be world champion. And since 14, I figured that one day actually. I used to be in Haifa, and in Haifa there was no boxing gyms, and the best boxing gyms was actually interesting. It was north of Haifa was the Arab villages, and I remember me and my friends, we actually figured, like, let's go to the Arab villages and train with them, because they have the equipment, they have boxing gloves, and etc. And I remember we made the trip, and it was very frightening experience, because as soon as I came to the village, you know, it's only me who's standing out from the crowd, and I remember the gym that they used to have in the basement. I don't know how many of you have seen Rocket 3. You've probably seen Rocket 3, and it's interesting. There's a moment when a close friend of Rocky Balboa and Polo Creed took him to Philadelphia gym, and he took him downstairs, and everybody suddenly stopped hitting the bag, and they look at him and say, "Rocky, you see, this is the eye of the tiger," you know. And I haven't seen Eye of the Tiger when I went to basement. I thought that they're gonna kill me. It was some kind of a different eye, you know. This is the eye we put on the doors as a Jews, you know, from the evil eye. But anyway, the first thing what the trainer did, he actually put me in the ring and gives me a pair of gloves and he said like, let's see how good you are, you know. And the kid was right away jumping me, and but they eventually, you know, I got hold of my emotions and a little bit of fear and anxiety, and I started beating the kid back, and I got respect, right, from all of the kids, Arab kids, and we became sort of friends, you know. And it's interesting. The more I say that story, I start realizing that actually the peace process in the Middle East, it's not the politician negotiating. It's probably putting the ring and having a one-on-one battle. You know, I think that's what works the best. It's a joke, of course. I'm not serious. So my boxing career, amateur boxing career, took off, and as many of you know, you just raise the hand as soon as you're kind of tired of boxing. I'll understand. I'll switch. But I started to compete. I became national champion once, twice, and as many of you know probably or heard that boxing in Israel is not that great. The soccer, for example, football, and basketball is really the most popular sport. The basketball Israel not doing on the European level pretty good. Soccer, however, I don't know why it's so famous, because they are suck, really, you know. But